Welcome, exiles! Today we are looking at the most OP item for leveling, with the caveat it's for melee classes only. But before we do so, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This helps with YouTube algorithm and it's highly appreciated. So let's get started. The item that is going to make us insanely powerful is the new 1 with nothing small cluster jewel. This cluster jewel is going to add a keystone called Hollow Palm Technique. The Hollow Palm Technique provides 3 stats. First stat is you count as dual wielding while you are encumbered. The second stat is 60% more attack speed while you are encumbered. And the last stat, that is probably the most important one, is 14 to 20 added physical damage per 10 dexterity while you're encumbered. So what does encumbered actually mean? It means you have to be unarmed, and also you are not going to be wearing any gloves, so you're basically hitting enemies with your bare hands. This keystone is really highly scalable with dexterity. You can get some insane damage while leveling from just picking up few dex nodes in your skill tree, nothing else needed. And as you level up, you just keep picking up some dexterity and maybe some life for survivability, and you're going to be destroying all the content in game, including the end game content. You will need to get some dexterity on gear then, but for leveling from Act 1 to Act 10, you don't need any particular gear besides this new cluster jewel. One thing that you need to do is rush the jewel socket on the edge of your skill tree, so you can socket this, and it can be done pretty early on, as you can see. So around level 15 this is possible on Duelist. Maybe some classes can do it a bit faster, or some classes need more time to reach this jewel socket so they can socket 1 with nothing. As you can see, my smite does around 60-ish damage while I have weapons equipped. When I switch, it does ridiculous 1k damage on level 15. This is ridiculousness to the extreme, so if you wanna one-shot everything in game, this is probably the best item to use. It is a bit expensive. When I got it, it was around 110 chaos. Now it goes for Exalt, I think, and it's going to probably be even more expensive as people discover this and wanna try it out. To see how ridiculous this is, I went and cut up my live stream into just boss fights, and if you want to watch the whole thing, I will include the playlist for live streams, so you can check that out. But it's kind of boring, so that's why I went and cut it up into like 20-ish minutes. Here we have one of the first fights that's maybe a bit challenging. Mervale actually was the first fight that was a bit challenging, but you already watched that, getting destroyed. First time I was leveling, I got killed by Mervale on my first character. So, like, this one-shotted it, not one-shotted it, but it killed Mervale really fast, and I didn't have that much dexterity at the time. For High Templar Ivarius, I got way more dexterity from the skill tree, so I was doing way more damage. However, this fight has many stages, that's why it takes a bit to finish. But when he is not invulnerable, I basically melt his health. If you wanna take being OP to the even more ridiculous extremes, on level 20, which is not that far obviously, you can take Astromantis Amulet, which gives plus to all attributes depending how it rolls, but it's more than 100, which is a lot of damage, and you get some health from it, and it's ridiculous. There are a few other items that you can use, but they're more for endgame, not for leveling. Like getting 1 with nothing, Jewel and Astromantis should be way more than enough for leveling. You just need movement speed boots and you're fine. I do plan to make a build guide for this for endgame, obviously, but I haven't decided on everything yet, and I'm having a bit of trouble with path of building, figuring out how to make all the damage calculations work with unarmed, and I will figure it out. It has to be a bit hacky, it doesn't support one with nothing gems, so we'll see how we do that. But this video here was to show you how OP this is, and maybe you can try it out. If you have an exalt laying around, you can buy one with nothing. It should be around 1 exalt, and maybe a Shrementis, another exalt. So if you have 2 exalts laying around and you have a character maybe that's not that great and you cannot do tier 15 maps with your main character, you can simply buy those 2 items, level up Slayer, well, Duelist Slayer, and like copy some generic Slayer build, just add a whole bunch of dexterity where you can, and it's going to work. It's that simple. I'm going to make my own build guide in the future, but for now I just wanted to share one with nothing cluster jewel with you guys. It's ridiculous. I had so much fun leveling with this. As you can see, it destroys Kitava like it's nothing. It destroys labyrinths. It destroys everything. So I ran all the labyrinths like really easy. I got one-shotted by Uberlab, but I had way too little health. So then I had to buy some items that have life on them to actually be able to finish, but that's for level 75. You're not supposed to be even doing it on the level that I was trying to do it. I was trying to do it on level 60 and I had less than 2k life, maybe I don't know. If you are a veteran player that knows how to basically not get hit by Zaro, you had enough damage to do it anyways, so if you know how to avoid Zaro's attacks, you can do it right away. If you can dodge everything, obviously, and all the traps, and yeah, I really don't like Labyrinth on Lich characters, but it's possible. One thing to note here, you've been seeing me using dash, so if you're unarmed, you cannot use lip slam, you cannot use shield bash, you cannot do anything besides dashing. That's the only movement skill that you're going to be using, but dash is insanely good, so that's not a minus in my book. It's actually a plus, because dash is so much fun to use. So we have here the last Zaro on the first labyrinth, and you'll see how much damage I'm doing to him. As you can see, it's melting in a few seconds. And we got a whole bunch of treasure keys here, and I actually got lucky here, so you will see when I open this. So I got another 2 treasure keys, which is really good. And wait for it, Exalted Orb! I never dropped Exalted Orb in Labyrinth before, so I was really happy. I mean, I invested 1 Exalt into one with nothing, and while I was leveling, I got 1 Exalt, so this is good. So yeah, and I just put some enchant, it's like nothing special, and after that I think there are some what I was looking here, I think there were some enchants for dashes maybe, but I wanted to check that probably. So later on you have 1 dash, later on you can get 2 dashes with support, and here I just grab Slayer Lich, which is absolutely insane. And now I'm not that scared of anything because I have Slayer Lich. So we're opening the last slab here, and we're going to destroy it. As you can see, I'm level 56. That's way too early for a labyrinth. And here's the first Zaro fight. It's kind of melting, not as fast as I would like it to, but I still don't have a good gear on this fight. And I'm not a pro lab player. I really hate doing labs. I never farm them like for enchants. If I want an enchant, I buy it because I don't want to run labs. You can run them with the characters that have a lot of regeneration, but I usually play lich characters which are not that great in running labs. As you can see here, it destroys this side thingies pretty easily, and it kind of melts his arrow. It's not like one shot, but I don't think I had Astramantis here. I got it way too later on. I might be wrong, like I don't want to lie, but I think I didn't have it for this fight. I think I got it for the last fight with for Uber Lab. I got it then. So here's the last fight in this lab. I didn't disable any traps, I think. I did that in the last lab. I went for Dark Shrines, but here I didn't do any Dark Shrines. It's just me against his arrow, and he's being somewhat melted. I was trying not to get hit by his attacks, but I'm obviously not that great at that. And here we go. That is arrow. It's that simple. And for here, I didn't get anything that great in the lab like before that. And enchant really doesn't matter because I'm not going to be using these items either way. But I threw it on my helmet. And now we get... I went with increased area because I thought I could finish the last lab before I start doing maps. However, you want to get enemies cannot reflect physical damage for maps. So if you reach the point where you want to do maps and this is not your second character and you don't have an access to last labyrinth, this is not a great idea. So get enemies cannot reflect and then later get the increased area. But I could do it, so I went for it. And now I tried on level 56 if I can do this, but you cannot. You have to be level 60 and have an offering. So you get offerings in maps and you have to collect all the trials in maps. So this is something that you shouldn't really be able to do in acts if you're leveling for the first time. So later on I got an offering and I opened the trial. But that was on level 60 and I think I rushed it too much. I didn't buy any gear. I was still way too squishy. I think I had way too little health for this. So what has happened is obviously because I'm not that great at dodging his arrow, I got killed. So I continued leveling. If you wanna maybe farm some zone and get some like currency going, the harbor bridge is pretty interesting. So here's like one. Well, I was going to finish the boss in this map. I wasn't really going for farming it, but you can see it has pretty nice density and it's a linear layout. You can farm it in the Delirium League, maybe after Delirium, I don't know what's gonna happen. But here you can basically get a whole bunch of Delirium stacks and drop a whole bunch of items. So that's one thing that you can try to do if you have a character that doesn't do endgame content that well and you need some currency. Maybe for Astramantis, maybe you spend all the currency on one with nothing and now you don't have money to gear up your character, so you can farm this really easily if you're having hard time in endgame content. So we have another fight with Various, but in the higher act, and he gets basically melted. I think I got some better gear at this point, so it's melting everything. Now we have the last Kitava, so I ended up fighting Kitava before finishing the labyrinth. It's kinda OP. As you can see, now we have Slayer Leech, and that's basically why I regenerate my life really fast. As soon as I get hit, there's like less than a second, it goes to maximum. So while you're leeching, you're immune to bleeding, you are basically insane as a Slayer. As long as you're hitting something. If you end up in a labyrinth and getting hit by trap, or you get frozen or something, I don't know what can actually... if you're spinning in Cyclone, you cannot be stunned, so that cannot stop you. But if you stop spinning and something hits you or frees you for a longer duration, or maybe there are no enemies around you and you get hit by a trap, and yeah, something like that can kill you. But if you're hitting something as a Slayer, it has so much regeneration. Slayer Leech is insane. And Kitava's almost done. I could have sped up this, but I don't know, it's kinda okay to watch it at full speed and talk along the way. And here we are at the last labyrinth. I'm level 70, I think. I got some gear and we can do this. I think I didn't invest too much money into this yet. So we have Astramantis and one with nothing, and we have a few rare items that are around 1 chaos each. So maybe more, I don't know. I think I paid something for something 2 chaos. So we have, I don't know, 1 chaos for helm, 1 chaos for one ring, 1 chaos for other ring, and 2 chaos for boots. So I don't know, 5 to, let's say 10 chaos. I didn't spend 10 chaos, but let's say I spent 10 chaos in total. So this is 2 exalts and 10ish chaos damage and survivability. So it's not like insanely great. As you can see, I just have barely enough health if I get hit, but I have so much regeneration. For endgame maps, I would really want more HP and a bit more mitigations. I think I grabbed the armor flask a bit later on, and I don't have... I should get maybe molten shell or some other form of mitigation, just so I don't get killed. I'm thinking of doing self-casted molten shell. That could be interesting. So I will experiment with that, and once I'm kinda happy with something, I will share it with you guys. As you can see, Izaro somewhat melted. It's not as insane, but still, this is the last Izaro that you're supposed to be doing. Maybe if you're playing with friends, you can do it a bit faster. You can make if you have few friends playing with, you can all run maps, different maps, and find trials, and once somebody finds trial, he can invite all of you to do the trial, so you can collect all the trials much faster. But if you're playing solo, you probably won't be doing this until level 80, so that's something that to consider. If it's your first character, this is not something that will happen till level 80, so this is... you're way too OP for this, and yeah. Some of the better players could probably dodge everything and do it on 2k life without any gear, but I'm not one of them. And we melted Izaro, and yeah, so he's going to die soon. I keep dodging because I'm way too afraid of him. I got killed so many times by Izaro. And I think you're actually more safer if you're near him. I'm maybe not sure about that, but I think that's the case. And here you want to get It's either I said you shouldn't get increased area of effect. You should get the physical damage. Not being like enemies cannot reflect physical damage. You should get that one first. Now, if this is your last trial, you should probably get increased area. Maybe if you're going for crit, but that's kind of really hard to go for crit on this build because unarmed cannot crit. You have to get one amulet that's going to give you crit chance and make it viable, but then you're losing Astra Mantis, and I'm not sure which item it's actually going to be more powerful, being able to crit or Astra Mantis for getting flat damage. So that's something that I will have to try and see for myself, and then I will share it with you guys. So now I'm getting enemies cannot reflect physical damage, which is insanely powerful for mapping, and we're kind of done with the whole leveling process. Now I included one map after this so you can see it in action. As endgame content, I have one Al-Hezmin fight to share with you guys. That's kind of the highest thing I did on this character. I will show you something more fun once I finish the build, but we have Al-Hezmin here, and I'm basically melting him. Maybe not like the greatest damage. If I wanted to melt him, I would probably go for Frenzy instead of doing a Cyclone, because Frenzy can be really insane on single target. One tip for Al-Hezmin, you should get cannot be poisoned in your Pantheons. As you can see, I got stacks of poison and I couldn't leech it back. Even though I have Slayer Leech, it simply wasn't enough. So on Pantheon, get cannot be poisoned. That's a really nice thing to have. So I ended up finishing Al-Hezmin. It wasn't that hard, obviously. If I had that Pantheon, it would be way easier. That's something that I should get. I guess it's a reminder. As you can see, he dies, and yeah, we're fine. So, this is all that I have for you exiles today, and I will be making a build, so look out for that. For now, have fun slaying monsters in Rayclast.